Welcome to Meeting Candidates Night, a forum sponsored by the Public Policy Committee of the YWCA Piqua. I'm Nancy McMacken, and I will be this evening's moderator. Tonight's forum is being presented before an audience of the YWCA in Piqua and is being broadcast live on WPTW radio. The program is also being recorded by Piqua Indian Nation Television for later rebroadcast on Channel 5. Some housekeeping first. On your seats, you will find a yellow measurement tool, which we ask you to fill out and turn in at the door before leaving. The information is needed for our United Way funding, and we certainly thank you for your help in completing this. Before we begin our forum tonight, Laura Bruns, Director of the Miami County Board of Elections, will share information about the new voting machine and other pertinent things about the upcoming election. She'll also be available after the program tonight to demonstrate the voting machines. Be sure to stop by to become familiar with the new devices. Laura?
Hi everybody, thank you all for being here and thank you for having me. Like was said, I do have an example of one of our new voting machines. Miami County has just purchased a brand new voting system. It's called a clear cast ballot system. It is a little bit different for most of you who have voted before. What you're going to find when you go in to vote is instead of marking your choices on an electronic device, you will be using a paper ballot. Everybody knows what to do when you're handed a paper ballot, right? You have little ovals that you need to fill in with a pen. So we will have scanners set up at all of the usual polling locations. You will just mark your ballot with the pen, take it to a scanner, run it through the scanner. The really nice thing about these scanners, they will warn you if you have an overvote. So if you voted for too many choices for that particular race, or if you have an undervote, so you haven't voted for as many choices as you can make. So you do have warnings that you can correct your ballot if you'd like to. The other thing I want to remind everybody about is that we do have early voting going on. We do have that going on at the Hobart Center in Troy. So because of the construction around the courthouse in Troy, we decided to move the early voting over to the Hobart building, which is the building between the library and the new hospital in Troy. So our hours there are from 8 to 5 this week. Next week, every day, Monday through Friday, we'll be there from 8 to 7. On Saturday, the Saturday before Election Day, it's hard to believe it's already that time, but the Saturday before Election Day will be open from 8 to 4, and then the Sunday before Election Day from 1 in the afternoon until 5. The day before Election Day is the last day that you can vote an absentee ballot, and we're open that day from 8 to 2. On Election Day, the polls will be open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. All right, and like I said, I will have the scanner out there. I have some sample ballots that you can try, and you can see how the scanner works, and I'll show you how it all works together, all right? I'd be happy to answer your questions at that time too. Thank you very much. I'm going to take my assistant with me in the hall. All right.
Thank you, Laura, for coming and making the voting machine available to those attending with the candidates tonight. Our forum tonight will include a representative for one local issue on the ballot, the Upper Valley Career Center 1.5 mil increase, and candidates for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education and the Piqua City Commission. Because there's only one local issue on the ballot and there are no contested races, the YWCA Public Policy Committee decided to invite candidates for the Piqua City School Board of Education and Piqua City Commission so you can meet the candidates who will be filling those positions. Rules for the forum are as follows. The issue representative and all candidates will each be given 2 minutes for opening remarks. Following these initial presentations, written questions from the audience will be presented, and the issue representative and candidates will each be given 1.5 minutes to respond to the question. The order in which candidates respond will be rotated. The written answers must be of a general nature, or the written questions must be of a general nature and must be directed to a particular issue or office as opposed to a particular candidate. Forms for the questions are provided on your chairs, and committee members will collect your handwritten questions. Please realize that due to time constraints, not all questions may be presented. At the conclusion of the question and response period, each issue representative and candidate will be given 1 minute to offer closing comments. These closing remarks will be offered in reverse order of their initial presentation. In the interest of fairness, time limits will be strictly enforced. Our timekeeper, Kathy Alexander, will hold up a sign when the speaker has 30 seconds remaining, and a bell will sound when time expires. In an effort to conduct tonight's forum in a timely manner, I will announce the order in which the issue representative and candidates will be speaking. We ask each speaker to move to the microphone as the speaker before you draws to a close. Identify yourself at the microphone each time and begin speaking. Any campaign materials provided by tonight's speakers or others will be available on the table in the outside hallway. As a reminder, I ask that those of you who have written questions, please hold them up for the Public Policy Committee to collect. We also ask that you hold your applause for the candidates and issue representative until the conclusion of tonight's forum. Dr. Nancy Luce, representing the Upper Valley Career Center with a 1.5 mil increase, will speak first.
Nancy Luce, Superintendent of Upper Valley Career Center. I'm speaking on behalf of Upper Valley Career Center's 1.5 mil operating levy. Upper Valley has not asked for additional operating funds for 20 years, since 2000. This levy would cost voters an additional $4.38 per month per $100,000 of assessed home value. So why the request for additional funds? In the last 10 years, Upper Valley's main campus enrollment has increased by 25% and is now over 1,000 juniors and seniors. In our satellite programs housed in our associate schools, enrollment has increased 17% to over 3,400 students in grades 7 through 12. We are exceedingly proud that we've accomplished this growth by eliminating low enrollment programs, reducing staff where possible, increasing class sizes, becoming more efficient, and asking everyone to do more with less, so that we can add new in-demand programming and serve additional students. The demand for trained employees has been called a crisis and is cited as the #1 economic concern among employers. The state is our largest source of operating dollars, but state funding has not kept pace with this demand for skilled training. Passage of this levy would allow us to expand existing programs, add new in-demand options, and continue to ensure high-quality training is provided with up-to-date equipment, technology, and materials in well-maintained facilities. Thank you.
Next, we will begin with candidates for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education. Clint Bostic will speak first, followed by Steve Frazier.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Clint Bostic. I'm a current board member of Piqua City Schools, and I'm rerunning for my seat. We actually have 2 seats open for, as I said earlier, an uncontested election. You know, I guess thinking it over, the real reason I got into this originally is, you know, I loved working with students. I'm a retired guidance counselor from Piqua City Schools, and, you know, there's a lot of really great kids in our buildings. And I want to see what we can do to try to help them to reach their educational goals and to get some ideas of what they want to work for and then expand on those as they go through their educational career. Some good things we've got going on. We've got, in academics at least, we've got the Success Bound program that was begun, and that is going to be coming down through the grades from the high school down through the elementaries. And what it does, it's basically giving alternative pathways for different students to find a way and to link with some area that they want to achieve in and that they can have success in and graduate in. Other things we have with Upper Valley Career Center, we have a partnership where we've redone the 500 wing of the high school, where we've got some, there's going to be a medical technology lab there, and some other programs that students can actually get some work experience at. Edison State, of course, with what it offers, and student work experience. Some of the businesses we have partnerships with have some of our students work during the school day to get some experience so that when they graduate, they could be work ready to be employed and begin their career. A couple other things, safety. That's good. Safety, Pickwa, the high school, we've done
Excuse me, your time has expired.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, okay, I didn't even see it for a second. Sorry.
Next will be the candidates for the Pickwa City Commission. We'll hear I'm sorry.
Evening, my name is Steve Frazier, running for Pickwa City School Board seat. And Clint has taught me a lot already tonight that I don't know about. First time at this. If you don't know me, people know me as Frazier. That's what I go by, okay? Students, parents, some of them are sitting here smiling because they know that I'm telling the truth. I didn't have a whole lot because I don't know a whole lot yet. I'm here to learn, to learn what the Board of Education does, what their facilities are, you know, how they get the new facilities and all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I brought my wife, which I've been married to 40 years in April last year. Last year, so it's pretty long, that I 40. And she's been a coach's wife for 40 years. There's one other person here that knows the feeling. That's Mrs. Pearson. I have three boys, Stephen in Columbus, Jason in Pickwa, and Matt in Florida. I have 6 grandchildren. Two of them in Florida, or one in Florida, 2 in Columbus, 1 in Pickwa. I've been involved with Pickwa City Schools for 40 years in different aspects. Mainly coaching. I've done youth. I've been involved in the youth programs around Pickwa, and I also been involved in show choir and musicals. So I know a lot of the kids. I know a lot of the parents. And I know that part of it, but now I'm going into getting my education on what's going on behind the scenes. And I'm hoping that it'll be a good experience. Sounds like Clint, beside me, I'll have a lot of good experience. So my top priority, better education for you all, okay? And I got the red card, and if you're in soccer, you know what that means.
Thank you. Next will be the candidates for the Pickwa City Commission. We will hear first from Tom Vogt of the 1st Ward, followed by Cindy Pearson of the 2nd Ward, and then Catherine Hines, 5th Ward.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out to this great event that the YWCA has put on for us. I'm new to the political world. However, I've been involved in government for the past 18 years. I retired out of the military. Currently, right now, I work for the Council on Rural Services Head Start program. And a step for me coming into the government, I want to make an impact. And that impact is if I can affect one person per year for the first 4 years that I'm here, that's what this means to me. I love this town. I was born and raised. A town north of here is a Yellow Jacket, but Indians have become my home. I have 2 kids that went to Troy. One goes to the CTC now, and my other one is a Viking. But however, Pickwa was my home. So, you know, I'm here for you guys. If you got problems, bring them to us, and I'll listen. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Cindy Pearson, and I am vying for Ward 2 Commission seat. Wait, grab it. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Thank you to the YWCA this evening for having us. And thank you to the 75 citizens who nominated me in my ward. That was quite an experience, meeting 75 people in your neighborhood. Many of them had lots of questions and wanted to know who was I and what was I doing knocking on their door. Be reminded that when you go to vote, you can vote for all of us. You don't just vote for the person in your ward. And my commission seat will last for 4 years, and I salute Bill Vogt, who has been commissioner in Ward 2 for 16 years. Again, I'm Cindy Pearson, and I'm married to Ron Pearson, a retired teacher, coach, and probably, well, maybe some of you had me as a driver's training instructor back in the day. I have 2 sons. Ron Jr. works at Hartzell's, and I have another son, Ryan, who lives in Piqua and works in Dayton. He is currently working towards his teaching degree. I worked for Piqua Family Practice for 32 years and Premier Health for 1 year. I did a lot of problem solving there. I am a med tech, and I did insurance billing and physician billing. I currently work part-time at the Y, and that's where I see lots of young families come in who are so enthusiastic, and that kind of, thank you.
Hello, my name is Catherine Hines, and I'm running for the 5th Ward City Commission seat. I am the incumbent. I have had this seat for the past 4 years. And I am excited to be running for this again. I'm also excited to see all these students out here tonight, and I know you're here because your teacher is in the back of the room. But I know that he has you all come each and every year, and I think it's so important for children your age to get involved in what is going on in your community, and you are some of the voices that I have been listening to and continue to listen to, especially because I have a son who is at Piqua City Schools. He is a 10th grader at the high school. But I am thankful to have you all here this night. I have really enjoyed these past 4 years as your city commissioner. I've also been serving as mayor in that time. And, you know, I was not born and raised in this community, but I have lived here for over 10 years. I've lived in a variety of places. I know a good place when I find it, and Piqua is that place. It's been a wonderful place for me to raise my family. It's a wonderful place for my son to grow up. And, you know, there are so many wonderful things that are happening here in our community. And I have been excited over the past 4 years to be part of that, to help support our city staff and our city manager to move our city ahead. There are so many recognitions our city has experienced and received in these past 4 years, and it's been exciting to see others outside of our community acknowledge the good things that are happening here in our city. Just to mention a few things that I have been involved in as I have been in this position. One of the things I wanted to do was to get information out to citizens, and so with the help of Indian Nation Station, I have done a series called Eye on Piqua, which has traveled around different places in our city to bring information and good knowledge of what's happening in our city to our citizens. Another fun project I was involved with was a Piqua City music video. The high school helped me with that, as well as many other citizens in our community, as a fun way to show people what the amazing things are here in our community. Thank you.
Written questions from the audience will now be directed to the candidates and the issue representative. Our first question is for the candidates for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education. It will be answered first by Steve Frazier, followed by Clint Bostic. The Piqua City Schools' latest grade card was a D. In your opinion, what has caused this? Further, what is your solution and recommendation to bring that grade to an A or B? Yes, please.
Like I said in my opening statement, I'm new to this, And I will be, or on top of it, I don't have a solution yet. I need all the input that I can get so I can make a decision on how we should move forward. But right now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm in zero knowledge about it, okay? And I apologize for that, but I'm new. Next 4 years from now, when I'm up here, ask me the same question, and I'll be able to answer it. Thank you.
Clint Bostic, Pickle City Schools. It's a good question, and we own up to it. It's happened. Nobody, I don't think any of us are satisfied with it. We're not happy with it. We wish it were better. But there are steps that are being taken that the district is trying to do. In curriculum, they're looking at different things, you know, the state standards, best practices, possible professional development, targeting that for teachers. The curriculum directors are actually working with teachers in the buildings, at building levels. Teachers are working together, planning together, trying to find out what they can do to have to get better results. One thing for me personally, and I say this because I am not a big fan of the test, because it's a snapshot of 4 days in April, and that is what those kids are judged by compared to others around us and all through the state. Something they don't take into consideration is growth, because it's that snapshot at that time comparative. But if you look like at the crawl scores, the kindergarten readiness scores, and the scores that our students come in with, and then when they graduate high school, how they have improved, there has been growth. Who knows what we can compare with? You know, thank you.
Okay, our next question is for the candidates for the Piqua City Commission. Answering in the order of Cindy Pearson, followed by Catherine Hines, followed by Tom Vogt. What is your opinion of the latest movement among citizens to achieve a more open dialogue between the City Commission and the general public? How do you feel about groups such as Positively Promoting Piqua, seemingly portraying citizens who question their city government as disaffected and negative?
Well, I believe everybody has their own opinion. There are some groups positively promoting Piqua who basically support the positive things that are happening in our city. There are some groups who I know that are always going to have a negative attitude toward whatever policy, whatever idea may be put before the commission. And it is a problem, but I think it needs to be reviewed, it needs to be studied, and we need to know the truth and the facts regarding it. Thank you.
Catherine Hines, Ward 5, City Commission seat. Everybody has a right to their voice and their opinion, and one of the things in this job is it's very important to listen. And that's something that we try to do on the City Commission, is we really do try to listen. Many times there's reasons and certain policies that we have to make decisions as we do for the best of our city. Sometimes people like what we decide to do, and sometimes people don't. It's not easy being in this position sometimes, because you have to make a decision for the betterment of your community, and sometimes it may not be what everybody wants. But I will say that for all of us that sit on the City Commission, we do our best to listen. One of the things that I do like about our meetings is that people can come forward, especially in our country. You can come forward to the microphone, you can express your opinion, you can express your question and your desire. No matter how old or young you may be, it is a right that every citizen has. And that is something that I'm thankful for, because as somebody who sits in the seat that I do, it is important to listen and hear from our citizens. So thank you.
Thomas Folk, Ward 1 Commissioner. In regards to the question, the things that I have to bring to the board is when you come with a problem, please bring a solution with that. When you bring a solution, that gives the people that are sitting on the commission seats a base to work from. Without a solution, we have to make the decisions ourselves. So when we reach out to the community, listen to us, bring solutions, and we will listen to you. That is my stance on all the focus groups that we have inside of the city right now. Thank you.
Our next question regards the Upper Valley Career Center issue. What is the cost of educating a student at the Career Center as compared to other neighboring districts?
Well, I don't have that information, so I will have to say I'll get back to someone because I don't have all the data for all the area districts. We serve 14 districts in Miami and Shelby County, and then another 14 to 15 districts in our southern Miami County and then all the surrounding counties. So somebody ask me, I can share that information, I will be glad to get that.
Okay, our next question for the Piqua City Commission candidates, answering order of Catherine Hines, followed by Tom Fote, followed by Cindy Pearson. Would you support legislation to separate the Piqua Parks Department and the Street Department?
That's a really good question, and you know, it's one of those things, just like it is whenever we make any decision on the commission, it's hard to make a snap decision without doing your homework and getting the education behind that might be desired for people to do. So I don't want to make a decision tonight and say that it would be a good idea to do that one way or the other, because I believe in my position, I need to do my homework. I need to make sure that if we were to separate those departments, how it might affect the rest of the city and what that might mean for us financially if we would have to have another person as a department head. What would that mean for us financially as a city to put another person on the budget? Because right now we are doing the best we can with our budget to cut our spending as best we can, and if we add another department with a department head, that will definitely increase that budget. So I am not going to really answer that question tonight, but I will just say that if it was something that we had before us, I would definitely do my homework to see what the best decision would be.
Thomas Fote, Ward 1 City Commissioner. I have to stand with Casey on this one. I forgot to mention during my opening comments, I currently serve on the park board with the city. So I will stand clear of this one, but once again, it goes down to the facts being presented to the commission at the right time, the right place, so the right decision can be made. Thank you.
I too am involved in city government. I am serving on the planning commission and have been on the planning commission for 6 years. It is, I know it is a problem. I know the citizens see that parks and streets have no business being one unit. And so, yes, it will affect the budget if we hire someone we separate the two and we hire someone or have a person, 2 people running each of those, one for streets and one for parks. I know people complain about how the parks need mowing or the streets have potholes in it. So where is the street department and snow removal? So yes, it needs to be studied, and I agree with Casey. There's a lot of factors, and we need to get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Thank you.
Our next question is for the candidates for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education. They'll be answered first by Clint Bostic and then Steve Frazier. What is the long-term vision for locating more athletic fields out near the high school, and how do you feel about this?
Clint Bostic, Pickle City Schools. The long-term vision is right now in the very earliest stages of conception, the conceptual stage. There's nothing definite, there's nothing definitely planned, but we are looking at what are possibilities of possibly bringing athletic facilities out to the existing land that we have out there. So we're just looking at things. No decisions have been made. You know, we're just now in the stages of even asking, what would it cost? Is it feasible? Where would it be put? What do we have to do to make things going? So that's where we are at. Someday, personally for me, I would like to see all facilities out there. I think it would be nice to have everything on one campus athletically. Maybe we could work the parking a little bit better, get some common things that could be shared, maybe like concession stands or something could serve a couple of different sports. But I think it would be to our advantage to do that. But we also have to take into consideration what our budget will be, because we've been now 6 years in a row of non-deficit spending, and we like to keep it that way. I think that's the way to go with the tax money. You don't want to get out there where it becomes iffy. So.
Steve Frazier, Pickle City Schools. Thank Clint. I've learned something already tonight. I wasn't aware of the talks going on, but I will tell you right now that I will give my best effort to be part of that committee to find out what's going on and relay the message back to everybody that needs the answers. Other than that, I'm new. Clint taught me something tonight. Thank you.
This question is on the issue for the Upper Valley Career Center. How many of your students are from Miami County, and how has past support for levies broken down by county?
Nancy Luce, Upper Valley Career Center. Our students are about 60% from Miami County and about 40% from Shelby County. There are pieces of our population from Dart, Logan, and I'm missing one, Auglaize. So, but that's primarily how it breaks down. In terms of support, typically the support tends to be, in the past, has been greater in Miami County in terms of percentage of yes, but I can't really give you those figures. The last time we were on the ballot was '09 for a bond issue. And so honestly, I don't have that information.
This question is directed to the Pickle City Commission candidates. They'll be answered in the order of Fote, Pearson, and then Hines. Is the development still on track for the riverfront project? Please explain. Do you support this project?
Thomas Fote, Ward 1, City Commissioner. As for the planning and the development of the city waterfront, I know the initial plans that were laid out of the city building. I had a chance to go in and view those when they were initially rolled out. If we are on track, I do not know. I'm new coming into the commission, so as I get my feet wet, I will get those answers out to everybody. Thank you.
Cindy Pearson, Ward 2. The riverfront development is an ongoing development. As you know, Lock 9 is right now in the process of they're digging out the old canal or lock, and it's just amazing to me that it's still there. If you have an opportunity, I'd go look at it. It's amazing. But there are plans to further develop where the old Decker building is located. to the east in years to come, develop that. And then along the riverfront, if you visit the city building up on the second floor, there are drawings and etchings of what the riverfront is going to look like. So it's in our future, it's in the plans. It's just going to take some time. Thank you.
Catherine Hines, Ward 5, City Commission. Yes, the Lock 9 Park is going on, and it has been going on. A lot of what has been happening over the past year or two has been underground because we have been moving utilities in order to get things to a place that we can start to move the dirt. If you were to go down there today, you would see the top of the old lock, which has now been unearthed, which will be part of that Lock 9 development down at that part of our river. And I will say the vision that the city and our economic development team has had for that place in our city is something that is very special. It's very special because it is helping to create a place for us as a city. It is very much part of our place-making initiative that we've had here in the city. And because of what is happening down there, we have had a variety of developers starting to look at our city. This coming Thursday, we will have some developers here in the Zollinger building, the Loft building, who have purchased that building and are going to develop it. And they did that because they believe and see the vision that we have for Lock 9. And there are many other developers that are looking at our city and taking the initiative to be part of that as well. And it is all centered around that riverfront development. So thank you.
This question is directed to the candidates for the Piqua City Schools Board of Education. It will be answered first by Steve Frazier, followed by Clint Foster. How will maintenance be handled on new bus pads without a maintenance building?
Steve Frazier, Pickle City School Board. I'm going to give you the same answer I'm going to give you all night, I'm sorry. But that's the first time I've heard of this, but I will guarantee you that I'll find the answers and let you know. You know, ask me on the street, and a year from now, I'll let you know, okay? I know we'll do the right thing, I'll put it that way. We'll do the right thing for the city of Pickle, okay? Right now, I don't have a good answer for you, sorry. Thank you.
Clint Bostic, Pickle City Schools. I think if I understood the question correctly, bus pads meaning we moved them out by the high school is what I'm assuming. Well, what we're doing for maintenance is our mechanic that we have had for years is taking care of maintenance at a facility that he has. And so we're having that done to maintenance the buses. This, you know, we moved here because the lease is up. So we moved them out to the high school and constructed that, so that would be easier for them to be there in a central location. So I think that answers hopefully.
This is for the candidates for the Piqua City Commission. We'll ask Cindy Pearson to respond first, followed by Catherine Hines, followed by Tom Vogt. Do you think the City Commission meetings should be aired live on Channel 5 again?
Absolutely. I think that the citizens are entitled to see what is happening at our city commission meetings. I know that there are a lot of seniors out there who probably would rather sit at home and watch a city commission meeting. Anyone, and I encourage you young folks, come to a city commission meeting, get involved, find out what the issues are, ask questions. I think it's important that we air our commission meetings and as well invite our citizens to come in to those meetings. Thank you.
Remember? Who's next?
It's Catherine Hines, yes, you are.
I will say that I do know that there is some certain equipment that is needed in order to run these commissions, the meetings live, and I know that at one point we did not have it and it was expensive. So I am not sure if we have the capacity to do that. I understand the desire and the need for people and to be able to see that as soon as possible, but I do know that that has been one of the reasons that we have not been able to do it in the past. I will say that it's not live, but Indian Nation Station does a great job of getting them up very quickly as soon as they are done, and sometimes it's even that same evening. So again, it's not a live feed, but at least it's as close as it can be. So thank you.
Thomas Stoke, Ward 1 City Commissioner, I would absolutely stand behind that decision to put it out publicly for everybody to see. Thank you.
Our next question for the candidates for Board of Education. Clint Bostick first, followed by Steve Fraser. By many accounts, the turf on the football field is in bad shape. Is there a plan for replacing it in the near future?
Clint Bostick, Pickle City Schools. But to my knowledge, I don't think the turf is in that bad a shape. You know, we're taking care of it, we try to maintain it, and I don't know of it being bad, so I'll be honest with you. I guess we don't know everything that goes on, and you can't know everything all places, all times, but I think it seems to be okay for now. They do have to, you know, they last, depending on what you get, for, I don't know, anywhere from 10 years or whatever, I don't know. But, so if anybody would want to talk to me later, let me know something I don't know. I appreciate it.
Steve Fraser, Pickle City School Board. What I'd like to do, and you know, Clinton didn't help me out much there at that time. But what I would tell you though is that is part of my goal for being on the Pickle City School Board, is being associated with the sporting events, sporting programs. So in a year from now, if we have this again, in a year from now, I will help you out. I will answer the questions, guarantee it. Thank you.
Okay. This question is for the Pickle City Commission candidates. It'll be answered first by Catherine Hines, then Tom Fote, and finally Cindy Pearson. Can we fix the cones on Main Street with painted crosswalks?
I'm assuming you're speaking of the cones that are outside of Thomas, between Thomas and 311. Those cones are put there for a traffic study. It was brought to our attention in a city commission meeting a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, that that is a dangerous intersection. I will say myself, sometimes I feel like I'm taking my own life into my hands. I mean, as I try to cross right there between Thomas and 311. And so our engineers and our engineering department decided to put that out there as a traffic calming measure to get some idea of what we could do to slow that area down. One of the issues that was happening in that intersection is people were coming up, and as they were stopping to turn left, other cars were scooting around and going around them that could hit a pedestrian in the crosswalk. And so that is why those cones are there. Once the traffic study is done, we will find something that's more permanent to put in there, but until we put something permanent in there, we want to do the study to see exactly what that would be, whether it is on the outside of the road or something inside like a planter or something like that. So that's all I know on those things, so thank you.
Thomas Stoke, Ward 1 City Commissioner. I, like everybody else, didn't know what the cones were out there for. Now I know. Thank you, Casey. So once again, it goes back to the city infrastructure and being able to do these studies and see what's going to better the city for the pedestrians that need to cross the roads. Thank you.
Cindy, Ward 2, Cindy Pearson. The cones are gone. I went through that intersection this afternoon and they're gone, so the study might be over. But again, downtown is a busy place, especially for semis that go through trying to get out onto 25A North and 25A South, and these are big trucks. I have sat at 311 and watched them go by, and they're not slowing down much. So it's dangerous to our pedestrians, bikers, walkers. I think they're studying it and to be continued. Thank you.
Okay, our final question is actually for the candidates for both the Piqua City Board of Education and those for the Piqua City Commission. And we'll respond in this order. Steve Frazier, Clint Bostic, Tom Fote, Cindy Pearson, and Catherine Hines. Are there any challenges you faced in getting your name on the ballot and any changes you would recommend in that regard, that process?
Steve Frazier's Piqua City School Board. I seen not a lot of challenges. I had a lot of great help. My wife, Lori Hubner, Diane Hill, helped me go around and get signatures. They did an outstanding job. I don't know why we have to have that many, but that's for somebody else's decision to make. But no, I see no problem with the way it's being handled right now. Thank you.
Clint Boston, Piqua City Schools. In my honest opinion, the form, I would recommend you read those petition forms maybe 30, 40 times, because they cannot offer you help. They pass out a guide, but there are still some things that you're not certain about. So you really got to almost study that thing, and I think that may inhibit people from running, which I don't totally agree with. I mean, I understand, get the signatures, meet the public, that's good. But, you know, they need to have, I think, a better guide, because every year in the paper I see that people forgot this or misread that or did something. I don't think that's right, personally. So that's a challenge that I see, that I wish they would look into.
Thomas Fote, First Ward City Commissioner. For my first time around, it was absolutely horrible. You know, you get out, you pound the pavement in your wards for the commissioners. You know, we got to gain at a minimum, I think 50, no more than 100. A lot of times you walk up to the doors and you get, well, nope, I don't want to do this, or I'm not a registered voter. A lot of people I don't think want to support what's going on here. And the community at large is the one that can make a bigger impact for the people that need to get the petition signed to get up here and serve for everybody. Thank you.
Well, as you know, I ran 4 years ago, and my petitions failed because I was downloading a map that was an old map. And in the interim, they had taken a census, and I was moved into another ward. And so when I went out to get my petitions, I was looking at a map that was not correct. So I was knocking on doors of people who were not actually in my ward. So my names and my signatures were rejected, and so I just backed out of that. But this time around, things were more accurate, and I appreciate the Board of Elections. They don't help you. If you have questions, they're not very good at answering them for you, so you need to get on board with somebody who's been there, done that, and they know what they're doing. I think the form, the petition form, is difficult. Yes, you have to get a signature, but if the Board of Elections can't read the signature, it gets tossed out. So it's wise to get not only a signature, but also a printed name.
I one of the things that we have tried to do here in the city is to provide some education on how you run for office, because we only have ourselves running. This time we don't have anybody running against us because it can be a very confusing process. We've had some workshops through the city to try to give people that information and give you a packet so you know kind of the process that you need to go through that. But I do know that in the past, in Cindy's situation prior, the ward map was sent to the Board of Elections from the city, and for some reason that connection never happened. And so it is frustrating for those of us here in the city who try to do things the correct way, and the information has been sent, and yet it has not been updated at the Board of Elections. I believe we've had that finally taken care of, but I know that has been frustrating for folks. The other thing is to double check again that you sign everything. We have had people thrown out in the past who have not actually signed their petition, which after you go out and get all those registered voters to sign it, you need to make sure you sign it as well in order for it to be accepted. I will say that this year I was a little frustrated when I went back to turn in my petition, and the woman said, well, did you get the checklist? And I said, what checklist? And she goes, well, did you get the checklist? And so here I am turning my petition in, and there's a checklist that I never got to begin with, and luckily enough I sat there and went through and kind of figured out that I think I had it right, and obviously I did, but it is a little frustrating when that happens, so thank you.
In closing comments this evening, the speakers will be addressing you in the order reversed from their opening comments. Each has 1 minute to give their closing comments. We'll begin with the candidates, followed by the representative for the local issue on the ballot. So closing statements of the Piqua City Commission candidates will be given by Catherine Hines, followed by Cindy Pearson, and finally Thomas Boat.
As I said before, I am the incumbent, and I have enjoyed serving our city for the past 4 years. I come to this position with much experience because I have been doing it for the past 4 years. I know how our city works. I know the visions and plans that there are for us as a city. And some of the things that I have really enjoyed in my position is doing things like read with the mayor and getting to know some of our youngest citizens, and volunteering in Piqua City schools and different things, because I believe that our job as commissioners are not only to sit up in those seats and make those decisions, but also to get out in the community and to get to know our citizens. And with the walks with the mayor and different things that we've done, it's been a great way to connect with our citizens, both young and old, and to really hear what's going on in the city. Many people don't want to come to the city building, so it's nice when we're able to go down into the neighborhood and have conversations with people as we walk through their neighborhoods and get some ideas of what those issues are. So I have enjoyed these past 4 years. I look forward to these next 4 years. Thank you.
Cindy Pearson, Ward 2. I too am looking forward to serving the citizens of Piqua. I have been on, I said before, on commission. I'm commissioned for 6 years. And I have seen a lot of development in Piqua, the Lock 9, the riverfront development, the new schools developed, land that has been developed for new housing, the new power plant, the water plant. All of this is laying the groundwork for future development, for future business development. Piqua currently is hiring, and many businesses are expanding. The future looks good. It's exciting to see all of this going on in our community. I encourage all citizens to get involved in their neighborhoods, keeping them clean and safe, and the future of Piqua continues to be positive. Thank you.
I'm Thomas Folk, First Ward City Commissioner. And in closing remarks for me, I'm glad everybody come out tonight. Come out, vote for us, get us in the seats, come out and support us at the meetings. We'll support you guys as citizens. Thank you.
The Piqua City School Board of Education candidates will begin with Steve Frazier and followed by Clint Bostic.
Steve Frazier, Piqua City School Board of Education member. Education should be the top priority for all of us, especially students. Give the teachers the tools they need to make everybody the best they can be. I live by in my coaching career, I live by, I just don't want to be good. I want to be the best. Okay, that's what I've lived by, and a lot of people have heard it from me. The other quote that I live by is from a famous runner: to give anything less than your best is sacrificing a gift, and we have a lot of gifts in Piqua, Ohio. Okay, so that's where I come from. First thing I would like to see is a big turnout at the polls. Since it's my first time in the ring, I would like to see a big turnout. That would tell me there's a encouragement. Thank you.
Clint Bostic, Piqua City School. You know, I don't really have, I guess, a planned closing comment. I just think people need to realize that if you walk the halls of the schools, if you ever get a chance to go in or visit, you need to see the things that are going on. Students are engaged, teachers are teaching. You know, this is all about the students and what we can do to try to give them the best possible educational experience that we can give them. And are there areas of improvement? Yes, there are. But we're always going to strive for that, and that is our goal, to try to make it the best we can for the students and to give them the best education possible. And I can assure you that everybody in the district is trying that same thing. So I greatly appreciate it, and I look at it kind of as an honor to be on this. Really didn't originally want to get on it, but now that I'm on it, I do enjoy it, and I think we can do some great things for the students. Thank you.
Dr. Nancy Luce, representing the Upper Valley Career Center with a $1.5 million increase, will conclude with her closing remarks.
Nancy Luce, Upper Valley Career Center. These additional funds will enable Upper Valley Career Center to add programs and expand existing ones. When necessary, renovate space, purchase new technology, equipment, and materials, and add staff where needed in order to increase student access to in-demand skilled training. In addition, safety and security upgrades are always high priorities. Passage of this $1.5 million operating levy has implications for the training and expansion of our local workforce. Companies rely on skilled employees in order to meet existing demands as well as take advantage of opportunities to expand. The number one concern among our area employers is having a trained workforce. Upper Valley Career Center has a proven track record of providing high-quality skilled training to both high school and adult students. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to end our forum this evening with a few comments. You may still vote early in person through Monday, November 4th at the Miami County Board of Elections, located again at the Hobart Center for County Government at 510 West Water Street in Troy, due to construction work around the courthouse. You can check their website or your program for dates and times. A sample ballot for the City of Piqua is on the back side of your program as well. The polls are open Election Day, November 5th from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And remember to take a photo ID to your polling place when you vote and announce your name to the poll worker. The YWCA does not endorse any issue or candidate. Remind you as well to please complete the yellow measurement tool on your seat and turn it into a committee member before leaving. We now offer our thanks to WPTW Radio for broadcasting tonight's event, to Piqua Indian Nation Television for taping tonight's event for later rebroadcast on Piqua Channel 5, To the Miami Valley Today and area newspapers for promoting this evening's event, and certainly to the audience present and those listening at home. But our special thanks go to the candidates and to the issue representative for caring enough to participate in the Meet the Candidates event. Please join me now in offering a round of applause to all of them. And remember to vote. It is your responsibility. Thank you.